Hello and welcome to another Near Ending Cast. As always, my name is Johno and I'm joined by a very special guest, co-commentator Chris Dyer. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Johno. How are you?
I'm incredibly excited, Chris, because we're here to watch the world's Elimination.
I'm excited as well, actually. So I didn't see or hear about any of these games. This is all new territory.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right. So anyway, in the first round, we have on the left-hand side, Brit, Dave Saiya, playing CTM. On the right-hand side, we have Canadian, I guess, whatever, Dien Tran, playing Valencia. I did actually focus on Brits throughout these cuts, so all of these videos are going to have at least one Brit in them.
Very patriotic.
Yes, I know, right? Okay, so Dave obviously was very disappointed not to be able to play his beloved Shaper in this first game. You were telling me an anecdote.
Yeah, I spoke to Dee, I think before the round, and I asked him if he because he was the higher seed, whether he was going to run or corp, and he looked at me and said, "Are you joking?" I don't think there's any doubt in his mind that he didn't want to be diped.
Yes, so that's right. So he and I guess most others in the cut knew exactly what they'd be up against, and they probably hadn't especially teched for it. As it was, Dean got the choice. He was the higher seed, so he chose to play Valencia against CTM. So, do you have any thoughts? Did you play against Dean at all?
No, I didn't. No, I think I was in the other half of the bracket.
So do you know what type of Valencia he's on?
I think he's on Reg. It almost certainly has Siphon as well, though, so it's kind of a hybrid Siphon Reg Anarch build.
Okay.
He plays Valencia a lot. He's been playing it for a long time.
Okay. So yeah, from memory, it's a fairly regular build. It's regular breakers. It's not fast or anything like that.
No, exactly.
So as CTM, Icing HQ seems like a strong play, but
yeah, the danger here is that Dave hasn't had a particularly quick start. So on his turn one, you really want to play an asset, especially against Valencia, who doesn't have the wizard credits.
Yeah. Okay.
Now this is interesting. So
this has got breaking news at hand.
So that probably means that Dave thinks he knows that Dean is on a tag me build, because you don't score against normally you're breaking news. You have to run it into punishment to make the CTM deck work.
Okay.
If you know they're going to go tag me anyway, you can afford to score it out of hand and then just wait for it to be EOI'd later in the game. So that either means that Dave is really flooded and really worried about getting stuff out of his hand, or he knows that Dean's on tag me and feels safe scoring that breaking news.
Yeah,
early.
okay, interesting. So yeah, like you say, if you get an early breaking news, I guess you just sit on it, right? Until the opponent steals a GFI.
You either leave it in hand, or the best. What I like to do, and this secret is not going out and live on a video, is just to jam it on the table behind an ice and then leave it for turns and turns until it becomes relevant, and then you can score it.
And make him think it's a Sansan or MVT or something. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Dave's going to quite aggressively draw. He didn't mulligan for what it's worth, so he wasn't flooded to start with.
No. And he's got quite a lot of money, but Dean is also very rich. Dean's only problem here is his injects have already pitched quite a few key programs, so he's ditched a medium, a parasite.
Yeah, hit David as well.
Yeah.
Nerve Agent as well was quite interesting.
Yeah, Nerve Agent is an interesting include. So HQ pressure is really good against CTM, because they're very good at just building up cards in hand and then kind of massaging this hand until they can punish you with it.
Yeah, okay.
But that does mean that agendas do build up in hand, especially because they've got GFI that they can't score.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to drop a turntable as well. So that's, that's good against CTM, right?
Turntable was great against CTM. Two reasons. One is that you can kind of undo the damage that EOI does to you, but mostly because it means the Astro is less likely to punish you.
That's true. If they score the Astro, you can immediately just try and go after it. And even if it's a GFI, which in theory is a bad agenda steal nowadays,
better to swap it.
You swap it for an Astro.
So Dean is building up and is in quite a good position already here. So he's got quite a lot of money. We don't know what's on that peddler, but that David will mitigate almost all the really painful face check ice. Turnpike is now the only one that he really needs to worry about.
Yeah, and even then, as long as he runs with the click to spare and a decent balance, he's going to be okay.
He's got plenty of money. Bad publicity obviously helps with Turnpike, because it means you don't lose a real credit when you face check it.
Dave, on the other hand, has almost no board to speak of.
Yeah, it's really interesting that now obviously we don't know what Dave kept, but he obviously didn't have any assets in the hand that he did keep.
Yeah, he didn't install an asset until a couple of turns in, and he turned two, and he didn't. He's played a lot of economy. He's doing decently for money, but he's not in a position to. He has no momentum.
No. So interestingly, Dean played the Net Ready Eyes and left the Ice Carver. He lost the Ice Carver to the net damage, so he preferred to play the Net Ready Eyes, presumably because it was free. Though net ready, ice cover is a better effect unless they're on Lotus Field.
So actually, this will come up in a moment. The one card that did not get hit in his hand was an I've had worse. So I think he was hoping to kind of cheat some draw out.
He was trying to get like the traditional pedal into a peddler.
Yeah.
But that ditched a paperclip, which is good.
Yeah, that's quite nice. Okay.
And obviously, we haven't spoken about it, but Slums is on the board, which means that CTM is effectively blank until Dave can get rid of it.
That's true, yeah. So last turn, in fact, Dien did trash the Sansan, which was removed from the game. So that is relevant. And he's getting an Archangel, which doesn't fire.
Yeah, he's got a Dave on the table, so no reason to fire it.
Although, I mean, Dave does have a lot of spare money, so 3 credits to remove a Dave counter is terrible.
He does, but it already looks like... CTM often goes 2 ways. One is that it gets an explosive start and barrels out of control and scores kind of horizontally. The second one is if they keep your board under control, you switch to this kind of one remote game where you have to put a Sansan behind a toll booth. So that money potentially is going to go at some point.
We'll see hard hitting use as well. We're dealing on 4 credits, so that's fairly big. He's not going to have to bounce back from this quickly.
No, Dien opened himself to this, and I think he was happy to accept it. He had a lot of money, but then he kind of invested it into his board state, which is fine. It's good against CTM, but it meant that he couldn't dodge that. Couldn't dodge this trace, and if he had a few more credits, Dave probably wouldn't have made this trace.
Yeah, it's true. So he's okay. So he's just going to keep the tags and stop probing HQ. There's no risk of QPM in this deck, so he's not worried about that.
No, and he's got no agendas. So the worst that can happen now is some tag punishment. So closed accounts isn't devastating to the credit total. That's interesting.
So Pedder's going to install Liberator, presumably for a discount?
Yeah, he's used the bad pub for the discount, which
he's going to install it anyway.
Is a nice fringe benefit of... that's not
GFI,
good.
okay.
The one card he wouldn't have wanted. But installing that Liberator means that his plan now is going to be take money and clear those tags. Otherwise,
so he's going to take... So he had 2 clicks remaining, so he's going to take 8 from the Liberator, leave 8 on it. That's nice balancing.
It's the traditional offshoring approach.
That's right.
I think it means he will be looking to clear these tags in that turn.
So if Dave has an EOI and he's drawing, so he might not, you'd expect to see an EOI this turn and possibly trash the Liberator?
I would most like to close accounts this turn.
Close accounts, okay, interesting.
Because it means that he can't clear tags next turn as well.
Okay, so if he has... that's fair. So if he has closed accounts, then you play it. If he has an EOI, you probably play it as well.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So he's going to EOI. He didn't play closed accounts. He may not have it. He's going to trash
I
Liberator.
can only assume he doesn't have it, yeah. Trashing that is still good though, because it means that if Dien clears tags, which he might not do now because there's less pressure to do it.
Yeah.
If he does clear tags, he's on no credits, has no way back.
So indeed he doesn't. He plays the I've had a worse hand.
And the reason he won't have done is because the EOI has already been played. There's not a huge amount more that can happen to you now.
So like you say, if the Liberator hadn't been trashed, he might have cleared the tags.
So you know Dave hasn't got closed accounts. Because he'd have played it.
So rebirth into Kim and hitting HQ. Sadly, it's a couple of turns late, but he's going to be able to hit those hard-hitting news, that kind of thing.
It's still very good.
And it'll allow
Kim is like the second most common. There we go. That's one hammer already. So it's not really a very meaningful card to trash, but you can start hitting the tag punishment before they can use
that's
it,
it.
Which is really valuable.
Hedge isn't huge, but you can start to dilute, and then that kind of thing happens, right? You get an extra access. He does turntable it, because why not?
Yep.
No effect. So he
always
is
turntable.
Yeah, he is still on full tags. But I mean, that GFI at least is safe from an exchange now.
What he doesn't have is any multi-access pressure at the moment. He's got no medium. He's got no nerve agent.
That's true.
If he had either of those, this game could get away from Dave very quickly. Now Matt Jackson has drawn the close accounts, and that is relevant because all of a sudden Dien has no way to clear these tags now. He's got no money on the table. He's got no money in his credit pool. Yeah,
so he's going to take him a while to get back up. He might.
Yeah, he's now tagged me for the rest of the game, I think.
So he does run the Jackson, force the use because he can trash it with the bad pub, of course. And you'd expect maybe Dien to no agendas go back though. Okay, so maybe he was hoping to put some agendas in R&D and start hitting R&D.
Yeah, Dave was just drawing for tag management or board state there.
Turning off the draws big as well.
Yeah.
The Jackson was going to leave the game either way, of course, because of slums.
Yeah, you might as well get rid of it. Unless you think those 2 credits are going to be relevant, which at the moment they're not.
Yeah. So I imagine, even though he's incredibly poor, Dien will just continue to. He'll just try and get individual accesses.
He's just going to face check stuff now. So he's going to poke R&D. He's going to poke HQ.
So we'll see Raven, and it seems like Raven's probably now blank.
The only thing it can do is make Resistor bigger.
That's true as well.
So
although if you're tracing through,
so this is strong from Dave because.
So scoring the breaking news out of hand now, a much less questionable decision.
It is now because you know he's tagged for the rest of the game.
That's it.
The first one has turned out to be correct. I don't know what thought process Dave was going through to say Dean's definitely going to end up tagged. I'll score this breaking news now, but it's worked out for him perfectly.
Yeah. Maybe he was just trying to set up. Maybe he had two in hand. I don't know. Okay, so we're going to get Run R&D. Dean does have a David, but he's not really able to contend anything.
No, so there's Resistor's the only card that gives you any problems here. Everything else you can break. So Archangel, he can break the David.
Okay, so he's going to David through. He's also going to be able to go through a couple of times if he... that's a big one. Okay, so he hits an exchange on R&D, and Kim's going to trash that for sure. They exchange a bit of patter about how Dave really wanted that card. Okay, he's thinking about HQ. No, he's not.
And notably, Dave's credits, which we spoke about being really high earlier in the game, have already gone. So he's already quite poor.
That's true. He played all of his economy very early, so
and it's all been burst economy. He's not managed to stick any asset at all.
Okay, so who has the upper hand in this matchup currently?
At the moment, Dave is up.
Okay.
That could change because he doesn't really have any way to score at the moment, and that's second EOI going is a really big deal.
Okay. That's true. He'll have, although I think he shuffled one back in, so there's still one in the deck in theory.
Yeah, Psycho is obviously live as a way to score now, which is also relevant.
That's true. He scored GFI at hand with the Psycho. He'd need 5 credits, but he could do that.
Yeah, he's not far off. But the only thing is he doesn't have any way to score conventionally at the moment. He's not building towards anything on the board.
Yeah. I mean, even a breaking news out of hand to put him to 5 would be big because that means he just has to draw the exchange to win.
Yes,
but so
there's only one breaking news left.
At this stage, he's not going to create a scoring remote. So Beal's a blank. Even an Astro, if he draws it, he's not going to be able to do anything with, barring psychographics.
Yeah, and the trick here is Dave is going to have to turn this position into a way to win, which isn't necessarily easy. Normally, you because Dean is poor, so building a remote is very threatening, but blackmail makes that a bit harder. If Dean had any multi-access on the table or any sort of long-term board, I'd say he's probably favourite, but...
Okay, so Turnpike is not as taxing as it could be now.
Turnpike actually, it might be strictly beneficial to Dean here because it means that 5th tag means he can David through resistors.
That's true, yes. And
he's now at David tokens.
Okay. So
and he's now just seen a resistor, so okay. Highly relevant.
The other thing that's relevant is that he is now Kim, which means he does now have a link. So the link and the bad pub might be relevant for traces.
Yeah, that's
resistor
true.
in particular. An edge benefit of rebirthing into Kim, I guess.
Yeah, and the other point that Dave should be thinking about here is he's seen very little of Dean's influence. So he's seen David's rebirth's net ready eyes, which is, you can assume, 5 influence. You might have seen a couple of parasites, but there's still 8 or so influence left unaccounted for.
So you're going to expect
and that could be Siphon or it could be Temujin, and you probably have to kind of account for both of those.
Siphon would be bad because he has no fear of tags now, so he can be very aggressive. If it's Temujin, that's slightly different because he's not going to be able to maximise his use of them because of the tags.
Siphon is worst case for Dave here because Dave's money is also very low, which means that he can't really score if he gets Siphon locked.
Okay, so...
But he probably should be thinking about that purely from a HQ point of view. He's put a lot of resources into R&D so far and only 1 ice on HQ.
Yeah, so the momentum slowed a bit. Dean had a turn of drawing and money and credit and gamble, and Dave's now drawing as well. There's just a kind of... there's a feeling that they're both trying to build for what will ultimately be a climax in a couple of turns.
That's true, but I think that Dean is better off doing that than Dave because... Late game, so there we go. Now we know what his influence is on Temujin.
Yeah. So he's going to HQ and he's going to run HQ. He's quite fearless. He's going to see Resistor. That's fine. He can trace through. It's not going to make him any money.
It will do. He'll spend 2 credits game 4.
So, you're right. So it will make him money. It will not make him a significant amount of money, but it's worth it for the access.
It's worth doing it, yeah.
And with Kim, of course, as well. If he can hit close counts, that kind of thing, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, this is pretty valuable, actually.
So let's see. There's only 3 cards in hand. So if he does hit, data in, okay. He'll almost certainly go back again. Yeah. I don't see why he wouldn't. You're going to hit a couple of times.
I think you run it 3 times this time and leave 2 uses on Temujin.
That's right, because that means it might get trashed, but it's less tempting to trash within 2 uses.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Pad, do you consider trashing that just to help your access in the future? I mean, you can trash it if he installs it, so it's not a big deal.
I think his credits are low enough that you leave it.
Okay, so
he's already spent the bad pub.
Okay, so he's going to trace through again. He's going to continue to access. Let's see.
So potentially there's a mystery third card in there that Dean doesn't know.
Yeah, so we saw a piece of ice installed on R&D before. I guess we suspect that's a resistor. We know he drew a resistor, and we didn't see the resistor during that.
I can't imagine he wouldn't have played resistor.
You're not going to put a Raven up there for sure anyway.
Almost the best ice in his deck at this point.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't really hold it.
And on the same server as a Turnpike as well is good. Obviously, it's in front of it, but nevertheless, it's going to get stronger and stronger. Although it's trace, I think Dien's now committed to just tracing.
He is.
He's not going to break anything.
It means he can if he needs to. So while Dien has more credits than Dave, tracing is fine. He's got paperclip in the bin, so if Dave ever gets rich and Dien needs to, he can install paperclip. The longer this game goes on like this, the more and more it's going to favour Dien.
Yeah, it's a shame because Dien would really like to be running R&D, as he Kim's a hard-hitting news. He'd really like to be running R&D because he needs to not lock up, well, kind of lock R&D. He wants to get agendas because they're going to be somewhere, and he wants to hit EOI, right? He wants to get it before Dave draws it.
Yeah, so there's two things going on here. One is that EOI doesn't lose in the game, so he'd be most worried here about Psycho Beal, but the chance of Dave being able to keep Psychographics and Beal in hand against this HQ pressure is quite low.
Yes.
EOI is a problem potentially, but less of one because it still gives Dien time to respond.
So we're getting another run on HQ. Temperature wasn't trashed. Maybe that was a misplay.
Dave's credits are low.
Yeah. More pads.
That bad campaign again.
A handful of pads.
Though I'd have installed that pad if I was Dave because it's expensive enough to trash that you might be able to get a couple of uses out of it, or at least tax the economy a bit. And what Dien has done here is rode through one closed accounts. He's got his credits all the way back up. So
he's going to click. He's going to run click 4 on R&D. So he does hit resistor. Let's see. Do you trace
I
this?
think he bounces.
So you can lose a credit. He's going to trace through it. You can lose a credit and take a tag. Archangel's going to fire though.
Really, so I guess he's not worried about Archangel bouncing anything.
All of his cards are blank now. I think Turntable's the only one that's really relevant. You don't really care about. You don't. I mean, David at this point is good. He does. He pays through it. Interesting.
That's
so
really surprising.
What on his as he sees a resistor? What on the table is worth more than 5 credits to him?
So
maybe it is the net ready or something.
You don't want your eyes to bounce out. That's very painful.
That's painful. Yeah, I mean it's blank now.
That was a very expensive run.
Maybe he's got a plan for Mimic or Yogg, and who knows? Who knows? I'm not sure. Dave trashes the South set though, so maybe he's going to start playing some assets.
Yeah, and the tags aren't relevant. I guess Dave just didn't really have a lot else to do.
Going to inject
2 Plascrits in Dien's deck.
Okay, sure. So loses a sucker and a parasite. Does get KT and a
yeah, that was a bad inject.
I'm not sure want any of that stuff.
No, so KT you almost certainly can't use because Dave will just trash it when it gets relevant. You really would like the sucker and the parasite. That's a classic inject where you draw stuff you don't want and pitch the stuff you do want.
Okay, and indeed he's going to pitch. Pitches the cast, in fact. He keeps the KT. I guess they're both equally blank.
Cast maybe is a bit less blank than KT because you don't have to. All you have to invest is the initial 3 credits, and then it drips, and then you're making Dave think about his credits again.
Yeah, you force him to trash it straight away.
KT, because you have to keep using it and keep investing your clicks into it, is much more tempting to trash, and also the return is much better when you leave it for a bit longer.
Yeah, I guess you'd be tempted. I mean, so you can get away, and I've done this myself. You can get away with using KT, clicking put 3 on and take it off. Like if it's already on the table, really, you don't install it, but. So
this is interesting. I think Dave is only thinking about psychographics. I think he's already decided the way he wins this game will be psychographics.
Yeah, that's true. So he throws down a launch campaign. Dien does trash it. A bit of a misplay. He didn't take a tag for it, which is relevant because 7 tags makes a...
relevant for resistor, but...
that's true. Not even relevant for Beal.
He's never going to break it, yeah. 6 tags is enough to install Psycho Advance.
Yeah, and in fact he only has 3 points anyway, so 5.
5 will do it as well, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, since he scored that breaking news. Okay. So, another peddler. So looking at R&D, I wonder if Dien's committed to going to tag me, if you've got a medium, do you just... you can't medium through the Archangel. That's
yeah, so that last breaking news obviously is huge. It means that EOI is now game.
That's true, which means he has to see the EOIs first,
yeah,
and that's exactly what Dien does.
So now Dave has 2 lines, which is draw Psycho and agenda, or draw EOI.
So the agenda would have to be the 3rd GFI or any of the Beals, none of which we've seen. Dien's going to run
or
HQs.
Astro will do it as well.
Astro won't do it straight away. Oh, sorry, he's on 5. Yeah, of course he will.
Yeah.
Astro will do it.
Any
Yeah,
agenda
yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it right.
And Psycho though, he has to draw and keep Psycho as well. But Dien still has no multi-access.
So, yeah, he's going to branch HQ. He's going to hit 2 resist on HQ. Okay, so that's going to be quite taxing to get through. He can trace through it. 5 credits total.
5 credits, yeah. But there's no cheap access on the board for Dien here.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And he has to get access because he really needs to hit that tag punishment out of hand. No, Dave hasn't got an EOI in hand because he'd have played it.
Would a rebirth into, it's a bit late now, but would a rebirth into Omar have been big? GFI, so that's got to come over this side.
Yeah, and he can't swap it,
Yeah.
which is what he's checking. So there's no value to it. I mean, you can swap it for the other GFI.
Sure, why not? Okay, but it's 5 to 5, so now suddenly 1 access will do it. It depends who gets that agenda
That's
first,
right? Yeah.
As you say, Dave also has the exchange line, but...
Right, so Dien's line has now also become clear. He's going to Temujin Archives for a ton of credits, and then he's going to make real expensive runs on R&D and hope he wins.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. He has no multi-access.
No, he's been quite unlucky in what he's pitched from his injects. His injects have ditched every single piece of his multi-access that we've seen.
We saw a medium at least earlier on, so if he gets Deja Vu and he's got some money
Yeah,
from
Deja
Temujin,
Vu
he
or
could consider
Rep Run will also do
throwing
it.
down,
But
yeah.
I mean, it's now so late that R&D is so expensive to get into that you can't conceivably run it multiple times.
That's true. The medium is probably won't even pay off. Like, you'd probably rather make single access runs.
Yeah.
You can run it so few times.
It's one of those. Being Kim has actually kept Dien in this game because otherwise Dave would have drawn that EOI and would have won by now.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
you really want to be Omar in a situation like this.
So Dean's going to allow Dave to bounce on with Archangel. So what do you bounce?
You bounce. You don't want to bounce Temujin. You don't want to bounce David. So it's turntable on that ready.
So you don't want to bounce Temujin because you're going to trash it?
No, because Dien will just play it again.
Sure, okay, we'll reset it. I agree, turntable. I think turntable because it means if it's a breaking news, it's not game.
It's turntable the first time, it's net ready the second time, so it's Temujin the third time. Then
so instead, he bounces net ready, and I don't know why. I've thought about this a lot. I've spent a lot of time editing this video. I honestly have no idea why. Dean immediately trashes it. Any thoughts?
It's a dead card now.
Okay,
so
right.
Dean's clicks all need to be get money or run. There's no value in doing anything else, and that includes installing net ready eyes.
No, but I mean, I don't know why it was bounced. So
all right, so because it's as dead as any other card. So turntable.
I feel like turntable's more active, right? Because we know there's a breaking news.
They're all gone. All the breaking news is gone.
You're quite right. It's 50 minutes. What a fool. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. So it's irrelevant. So he's going to trash Temujin.
Yeah, so again, Dien has no money.
Seems reasonable. But now Dean cares even less about the cards on his board. So he's now definitely going to just barrel. He takes 3 and just
almost
barrels
every
into
single
R&D.
turn now is going to be take 3 run R&D. So Dave didn't draw that turn, so Dien knows that there's no agenda in hand.
That's true. And now Dave can trace him out. No, he can't trace him out, but he can.
Yeah,
He could have 8.
he could have, but he'd lose a lot of his credits.
Okay, so we're going to take another tag. So up to 8 now. He's going to access with 3 credits. He bounces the turntable. Okay.
Yeah, now it's
Bill for the
Bill,
game.
that's
That's
the
it.
game.
Okay. Wow, very close. So if Dave had drawn that, of course, I don't know if he has Psych Graphics in hand, but yeah, that was huge. So now Dean was really up on the ropes there. You felt like Dave clawed his way back into that game after a very slow start.
Yeah.
But Dean managed to kind of just bully his way back in. He took the hot hitting news, closed accounts, and he kind of just very gradually put his way up.
Yeah, he
accesses.
rode the tag punishment all the way through the game. He got closed accounts. He managed to get his credits all the way up without getting closed accounts again. The problem for Dave was, although he had the tags, which is what you want to do, he never had any board. So Dave never had a remote at any point, not like assets or a scoring remote, anything. And he just really couldn't translate Dien being tagged into any kind of dominant board position. So although Dave's plan A worked, which is hard hitting use him and then translate that into pressure and all your tag trickery, he was always on the back foot. He was always responding to Dien. So all his eyes went on R&D to stop him being dug and HQ. Maybe he could have tried to be a bit more proactive. It's hard to say about seeing his hand.
Yeah. Okay. I can't believe that Dien would have fewer than 3 medium in that list as well. So was he unfortunate to not get the medium? He injected at least 1.
He was a bit, yeah. Either medium or nerve agent, both would have been really, really big in that game, and he obviously saw neither. But that's one of the downsides of a 50-card deck. So Val has a really powerful ability.
Yeah,
that extra 5 cards is not trivial.
Yeah, okay. And I guess the medium would have been a problem though because of the Archangel. He would have had to find a way to break it.
He'd have had to pay for it, but then he was paying early, and maybe he could have afforded to make less runs. And what Dien did extremely well there was play to his outs, and that's something you hear a lot in Netrunner. Dien knew how he could win, and although it was relatively, it wasn't really unlikely, but it was a slimmer chance than Dave had, I feel. Dien did exactly what he did to get the accesses that he could do to try and win the game, and it worked.
Great. All right. So, Dien would progress then in the winners bracket, and Dave Saiya sadly would drop into the losers bracket. Regrettably, he lost his second game as well. We will not see him again. But he also was not allowed to play Shaper in his second game, so he didn't get a single Shaper game in the cut. Sad times. It would have been good.
Only 4 clicks per turn.
I know, right? Or at 3 even. I mean,
well, yeah.
Okay, so next up, though, we are going to see famed Brit Dave Hoyland. You've probably heard of Dave.
Very nice hat.
It is a delightful hat. Playing against Nick Hansen, who's an American. So you can tell which side I'm on already. Dave's playing Wizard. Not particularly rare in the cut, it turned out. Nick Hansen was playing NEH, which was slightly more rare. I mean, it was all NBN.
It was all yellow, but there were 3 or 4 different yellow archetypes within that top 16.
So he was on. He was on NEH, and it appeared to be somewhat explosive.
Yeah. So I think at Worlds, as soon as someone played NEH, you thought it was Shutdown Boom, and they were pleasantly surprised if it wasn't.
I had multiple opponents assume I was on Shutdown Boom until I rezzed and advanced assembly lines on turn 2.
I played someone and thought they were Shutdown Boom, and then hit a Psychic Field on turn 1. It's like, hooray! I'll never be so pleased to see a Psychic Field.
You felt a lot better. Okay, good. So Dave is playing Wizard. Now, I don't know, but I'm going to imagine there's siphons in this list.
I don't think, and this statistically may be untrue, but let's assume it's fact. Dave Hoyland has never played a list without at least one siphon in.
Ooh, I mean, I assume that's not true, but I like to believe. I want to believe it.
Tell me the last time you didn't.
I can't. Okay, so we're going to see. Let's just say a siphon Wizard against the Shutdown NEH.
Yep.
Any thoughts about how that match might go?
So siphon is key in that matchup because they need credits to combo off. So you're almost using siphon to keep their credits as low as possible to buy you time to get as many accesses as you can, and all you want to do against NEH Shutdown Boom is just get as many quick accesses as you can. They've got to hold agendas in hand. They've got to hold Jacksons. Keyhole is also pretty useful because it means that you can selectively get rid of cards that they need to combo. So you can get rid of the accelerated diagnostics before they draw it, for example.
Yes, of course.
It's a pretty favourable matchup for Dave. It's not that favourable because one of the things about Shutdown Boom is it can just kill you on turn 2 or 3.
It's incredibly fast.
It's incredibly explosive if they draw the right cards. It's really, really swingy deck.
Yeah, okay.
But Dave's matchup should be quite good.
And obviously Dave's opponent managed to steer it into the top 16, so he played it in a consistent way.
Yeah, must have done.
Yeah. Great. All right, I'm looking forward to that. So I'd like to remind all of our viewers they can find all of our videos on the website nearreadinggrid.co.uk, and they'll find us on Twitter and on Facebook. Check out the Dead Channel podcast, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Chris, for helping me commentate.
It's been my pleasure.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.